Hey everybody, how are you? It's Sunday, it's the Late Night Agenda. I'm your host Craig, and as always you are very welcome along to tonight's stream. The funny thing is, I thought when the football season kind of wound down and got to a close, my streams might be getting shorter and we'd have less and less stuff to talk about, but doing my notes out for today's stream, I think it's the longest set of notes I've ever made for a stream. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot to get through. We've got transfer news, we've got player news, we've got news around screenings, we've got lots of bits and pieces to get through. I don't want to give too much away, but as always, ladies and gentlemen, this show is your show. You let me know what you want to talk about. I hope you're all keeping well. I can see that the chat is full already. Lots of people in. Thank you so much for joining us. Where to start? Let's do a few hellos as always, because that's where I like to start. Will's in. How are you, Will? Welcome. It's going to be interesting to see who we signed to Andrew Childerhouse, but Klopp said we won't do much. Any news about Ziyech? A few bits and pieces, mate, but when I say news, I'm always really wary because I don't want to lie to anybody, and I don't want to say, oh, look, we're signing this, because I'm not an ITK. That's not what I'm in this for. Brad Pitt is streaming again. I love it. Thank you. Keep it coming, Thomas, mate. More of that stuff. Craig, bring on the Champions League, said, oof. I like that name, oof. Well in, mate. Cape Town Muslims in the house. How are you, sir? What's my prediction for the final? Asked Dylan Jude. A 2-goal win for the Reds, Dylan. I'm not sure, 2-0, 3-1, something along those lines, but I think 2 clear goals to us. But I've always been an optimist, buddy. John Frusciante's in as well. John, how are you, sir? Always a pleasure. Ella, straight in. No messing around with Ella. Straight into the transfer gossip. Hey, Craig, do you reckon there's hope on the Ligt? And you know what? That seems like a perfect place to start. Ella, thank you very much. I do have some news on Matthias de Ligt. Guillaume Balaguer claimed that the Reds are definitely interested in Matthias de Ligt and have been talking to him about a potential move. The revelation came in a response to BBC's Radio 5's Football Daily podcast. Some sources suggest a figure of around 55 million would be enough to prize him away from Ajax. Barca had looked clear favourites, and we've spoken about this many times. Barca had looked like clear favourites to sign de Ligt, but according to reports coming out of Spain, that deal has hit a snag because Barca are refusing to agree to Mino Raiola's agent's fees. Now, we all know that Mino Raiola is under a transfer ban as things stand. My understanding of it, and again, I could be wrong on this, my understanding of it is that his transfer ban ends after the Premier League's transfer window ends, but the Spanish window stays open longer, I believe. Now, I'm not saying that Mino Raiola not being able to work would stop any deal for de Ligt. I'm sure that there's ways around this. I'm sure it's red tape. I'm sure they can do an agent's swap around or something like that. But Guillaume Balaguer saying Liverpool are 100% interested in de Ligt. A lot of people saying today, a lot of articles I've read say it's a straight shootout between Liverpool and Barcelona for his signature. What do you guys think? Matthias de Ligt, are we getting our hopes up for nothing? Numbers being mentioned are around 55-60 million pound, which is a steal. It's an absolute steal. Any club to sign de Ligt seems like a no-brainer to me. Why would you say no to a player that let's throw 60 million out there? You buy him now, you tie him down on a 5 or 6 year deal, and then let's say in 4 years time, 5 years time, even with a year left on a 6 year deal, what is he, 24 years of age? He's not even in his peak. So if the club wanted to move him on, or if things weren't working out or whatever, you're still going to get a massive amount of money back for the kid. Centre-back's peak is usually around 27, 28 years of age. This seems a no-brainer. So if Liverpool are interested, and again, I don't know, I'm only going off what the media are saying and what the likes of Guillaume Balaguer are saying, surely you've got to push. Surely you've got to try. I understand people saying we've got Joe Gomez. I love Gomez. We've got Joel Matip. We've got Degsy Lovren, who I believe might move on this summer. I think I seem to be the only one that believes that, though, because I've not seen much else. I had read a few reports that said clubs in Italy were interested in him, but I just think if we bring in a centre-back, the one most likely to move on would be Dejan Lovren. That's just my opinion on it. Everybody, of course, is entitled to their own. Let me get into the chat now and see how everybody's feeling about de Ligt. He's 20, said Samex. I think he's 19. Watchers of London said he's only 19. Van Dijk, do us a favour and get your friend de Ligt to Anfield, to Liverpool Football Club. Cape Town Muslim said, who wouldn't want to come to LFC? Think we're going to be surprised by Klopp's signings. You kind of took the words out of my mouth, my friend. I was on a phone call with Connor a few minutes ago before we started the stream, and I basically said the same thing. Who the hell wouldn't want to come to Liverpool at this moment in time? It's an absolutely fantastic club, on the up and up. who watching those games against Barcelona, if you're a footballer, wouldn't want to be part of that? Who wouldn't have wanted to have been part of that amazing night? Just like the nights against Manchester City, just like the nights against Roma in the Champions League, Bayern Munich this season as well. Who wouldn't want to come and play under Jurgen Klopp and in front of that Anfield crowd? I hope we are in from, ladies and gents, because it's a next level sign, and it really is. He's 19, it makes sense, said Marcus Fletcher. Brandon Kelly said we should just go out and buy him. No point in giving the other clubs a sniff. Trust in Klopp, said LFC fan. City won't buy De Ligt. He's out of their budget ceiling, 60 million. I don't know what's going on with City, to be fair. Now, Vincent Kompany, and I want to take a second to talk about Vincent Kompany, because I know on these streams we have had a go at Manchester City. I've been leading that push. I've had to go with their owners, I've had to go with their fans at times, but he deserves respect. Vincent Kompany, I know we could talk about the tackle on Mo Salah, but that aside and a few other bits and pieces, I think he deserves respect, and Vincent Kompany today has been announced as the Anderlecht player manager from next season, and I genuinely want to take a second to say best of luck to Vincent Kompany. I think he's had a bad time with injuries, but he's been one hell of a centre-back, one hell of a captain for that football club, and there are some times where you've just got to put your hands up in the air and say the man deserves respect. He was an excellent captain, a top quality centre-back, in his peak, one of the best the league has seen. So, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, Vincent Kompany, what a career you've had, mate, in the Premier League. I wish you the best with your managerial future, and I know you ain't watching this, but, you know, I've always said to you, I'll give you my honest opinion on here, and as much as I have fume and hatred and anger towards City for so many things, that man deserves respect, so best of luck to Vincent Kompany. I think Liverpool beat Spurs 4-0, said LFC 333. Joanne Fisher just confirming he is 19. I believe that's what I think I said, he was 19. Yeah, I think he is 19 as well. Kompany was a great centre-back, said Andrew Childerhouse. He just gave 2 million to homeless in Manchester. What a man. To be fair, what a man. And well done to Vincent Kompany. That's just class. Michael Clark said De Ligt is an absolute no-brainer. Plus, we'll have Gomez to cover, Trent at right back. If you want to take over City, you need to keep improving the squad. 100% agree with that, Michael. Even when you're at your peak, mate, even if you're winning the leagues and we win the Champions League, or you're winning whatever, you always look to strengthen. If nothing else, it keeps a little bit of competition within the squad for places, and that, as Klopp has spoken about numerous times, when you've got competition for places, that raises everybody's level, and a little bit of fresh blood every now and again does no harm. Salah will never go to Real Madrid, said Best, but he's not going anywhere this summer. So before anybody types it in, or before anybody asks any questions about Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah or Bobby Firmino going anywhere, I'm just not going to answer them today, ladies and gents, because I feel like a bastard every day coming on here saying the same things over and over again. They're not going anywhere. And when I say that I feel like a bastard, I mean I hate being negative towards people. So they're not going anywhere. So no need for the questions. They're staying as they are. Vincent Kompany's a good man, a good centre back. I wish him all the best. The Jersey boy. Give Laporte captaincy for City. I have no idea, and I have no idea who they'll make captain. Paul Grieve said, hello Craig, do you think we will get De Ligt? I honestly don't, Paul, but I don't think it's a money thing. If it's a straight shootout, if I'm advising De Ligt, of course I am, if I was advising De Ligt, Liverpool, Barcelona at this moment in time for a young centre back, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to push him in the direction of Liverpool if you're his agent, or you genuinely have his best interests at heart. Barcelona, fantastic football club, but a football club that are doing some rebuilding. We've seen, if you don't go to Barcelona and hit the ground running, Felipe Coutinho, you know, we've seen what happens. Come to Liverpool, you'll get that time, you'll be developed under Jurgen Klopp. And nobody knows if Valverde is going to be in charge of Barcelona next season. I've seen lots of rumours of various managers. So Liverpool are a stable club, a club that have proven track record when it comes to bringing through younger players as well. So if I'm advising De Ligt, it's a no fucking brainer. Now I know his mate has gone to Barcelona, and I know he might be in his ear. I know Van der Sar won't want him to go to Liverpool, obviously. I mean, why would he? He's an ex-Manchester United player. But genuinely, if you've got that young man's best interests at heart, Liverpool would be the place to push him. You've heard of Robin the Hooded Man, Craig. We have Craig the Hoodie Man. I told you, that's all I really wear. I only really wear hoodies, apart from the t-shirts, but you know, it's a bit chilly, so hoodie on. You can nearly pick her starting 11 due to her squad depth. What else we got? Christopher McVicker said, if he's worth around 60 million and only 19, think what he'll be worth in 5 or 6 years. Exactly. He's just going to get better and better, isn't he? And that's just number one. Topic number one, ladies and gents, of so much we have to get through tonight. So strap yourselves in. This could be a long stream. Christine Roberts said, okay, just Mo Salah's agent is in talks with Real. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. We've seen Mo Salah's agent already come out and say all of these stories linking him to clubs in Spain are bullshit. Just bullshit. Just plain and utter lies. He said that they were talking out of their AS again with regards to, I think, AS, one of the newspapers from Spain or Italy. I can't remember which one they're from. Yeah, it's not happening. His agent's already said it's not happening. Salah or Mane not going anywhere. Potential Champions League winners. Why would they? LFC will win the Champions League. Mark my words. 2 for Mane, 1 for Van Dijk, and a late one for Big Cock Divock. 4-1 said Stevano, yeah, with Ericsson scoring 1 for Spurs. Do Liverpool really need the Ligt? Probably no, Mr. Fix-It. Probably don't need him, but would be foolish not to try and add him, if you get where I'm coming from. Let's say, for instance, you move Dejan Lovren on, and let's say you got 18 million, 20 million for Dejan Lovren. So you're going to put 40 odd million on top of that. Probably an increase in wages as well, to be fair. But let's play very basic football manager here. And whatever Mina Raiola's agent's fees are, I don't know, but they will be substantial. Be sure about that. It seems like a no-brainer for an upgrade or for better, stronger squad depth. I mean, then you've got Joe Gomez, you've got Virgil van Dijk, you've got Matip, and you've got De Ligt, and then you still have the likes of Nat Phillips and stuff as well, and Kiana Hoover, who by the way did really well today on international duty as well, or was it yesterday? Recently on international duty. So need him. Probably isn't our most needed position, mate. I'll give you that one. But if you get a chance to sign a player like him, I think you've got to be in the conversation. Double Dutch, the lit in the pie, said Neil Anthony. Good morning from Australia, said Messi's red beard. How are you, mate? Welcome in. Liverpool Football Club said we need a centre back, a centre mid, and a striker. Seamus Smith said sell Degsy Lovren for 20 to 25 million and get the Ligt for 75. Makes perfect sense. Gomez can also play at right back. Dickie Bow said, hey Craig, Herder starting 11 will be joining Neil Warnock next season. Probably, mate. Probably. I mean, you can take that shit to the bank. Who wouldn't want to play for Mr. No Eyebrows? Is Warnock staying on actually at Cardiff? I've no idea what's going on there with him, or nor should I really have any idea what's going on with him, I suppose. Will Hansen said the Ligt would be great for Liverpool. I don't think I'd want to trash Spurs. Of course I want to win, but if we destroyed them, what a boring final it would be. Fucking destroy them would be brilliant. The last thing, I mean, we've had so many dramatic moments this year that a nice, easy, cushy final would be great. And I don't want to be disrespectful to Spurs, but I'm just saying, I mean, if we were 3 or 4-0 up, I'm not going to be worried about it being a boring final at all. I'm just going to be sitting there counting down the moments till Jordan Henderson would lift Big Ears number 6 above his head. But I get what you're saying. Spurs deserve respect. They're a good club, and as I've said all along, I'm only going to show respect to Spurs towards this final because they deserve it. Sean O'Donnell said, what do you think of signing Neres from Ajax for cover for our front three? Somebody who hasn't really been linked so much, Sean, but has been suggested by some journalists and stuff like that. He would be grand. He's a left-footed player. I think he'd do very, very well. Sorry, my phone's lighting up here again like a Christmas tree. People sending me messages and forgetting I'm on stream, so sometimes I gotta check them just to see if they're important. So bear with me 2 seconds while I just check this one. Oh yeah, cool. Sorry, it was just Connor. It's just Connor. Do you know what I mean? It's just Connor, nothing important. But when Connor sends me a message, I have to check because sometimes it could be that something's gone wrong at YouTube or that I'm not actually online or something. But back to Neres. Sorry, Sean. Back to Neres. Yeah, he's definitely, I think 40 to 45 million was the numbers I was seeing. I think, look, you've seen the players in our thumbnail tonight, so if I could just briefly give you an answer, I think we've got De Ligt, I think, well, he's not in our thumbnail, sorry, thumbnail, Dybala, Fekir, Neres, Memphis Depay, and who was the other one? Memphis Depay, and Ziyech. Any two from that 5, for me, would be an excellent window, and I genuinely don't mind. I don't mind which ones. Do you know what De Ligt said in the talks? No idea, Raymond. No idea. I think De Ligt in a backup for Salah if he gets injured, said Cage Dragons 1234. Have the triple. Where's this? Have the triple Dutch De Ligt, Van Dijk and Depay. What else we got? I heard De Ligt. What's this? I heard the Beaks in the bag. Sorry, I didn't know what you were saying there. Damo Dongo. I like that name, by the way. I haven't heard anything about Van der Beek in regards to Liverpool, mate. Yeah, I've genuinely read absolutely nothing about him and Liverpool. I could have just missed it though, buddy. But I'm always open. If you've read something, please do let me know, mate. Because I've said it before. I'm an absolute whore when it comes to transfers. I love transfer news. I love transfer season. It just gives me a bit of a buzz. I just absolutely love it. Nicolas Sula to Liverpool, asked Christine. A couple of seasons back, I remember him being linked, but I haven't heard anything recently. Sorry. Every time Klopp is in Europe at Liverpool, he goes to the final, said Fury Gamer Demon. Yeah, he does. It's great, isn't it? And on that one, so Liverpool have announced the details of the Champions League final screening, and as anticipated, it'll be held at the M&S Bank Arena, which people like me all know what it formerly is, the Echo Arena in Liverpool, the Auditorium Liverpool, and the Convention Centre in Liverpool as well, all around the Echo Arena campus, if you want to say that, or the M&S Bank Arena campus, I should say. Those that were unsuccessful in the ballot will have first opportunity to purchase the tickets for the screening at a pre-sale from 10 a.m. May the 21st until 9 a.m. on May the 23rd. So just to reiterate that for people who are watching, those that were unsuccessful in the ballot for Champions League final tickets will have the first opportunity to purchase tickets for these screenings at a pre-sale that will take place from 10 a.m. on Tuesday, May the 21st until 9 a.m. on Thursday, May the 23rd. Tickets will be priced at £10 for adults and at £5 for children 16 and under. Tickets for the screening will go on general sale on Thursday, May the 23rd at 12 p.m. via www.ticketquarter.co.uk and will be limited to 4 per transaction. There will be a total of 11,500 tickets available for this event. And just to give you more context on this, I read something again via the Echo, so I want to give credit to the Echo on this. I read that Liverpool actually booked the Echo Arena, or not the Echo, I keep calling it the Echo, the M&S Bank Arena 6 months ago. 6 months ago, just in case Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool made it to the Champions League final. Now, I tell you what, isn't that some fucking backing for the manager? Booking it 6 months ago, just in case. Brilliant stuff. I mean, I loved it. I love when I read that earlier on. And it's great that they try to look after the fans there as well, because they know that the demand is going to be there. They know that the city of Liverpool would come to a standstill. And for those that are wondering maybe why Anfield can't be used, I think Take That. I know there's a concert there. I think it's Take That. So Anfield's unavailable. So the club, we often talk about them not planning ahead or not thinking about the fans or stuff like this. Well, you've got to give them huge credit here. 6 months in advance, they backed Jurgen Klopp and said, do you know what? Let's book the M&S Bank Arena just in case Klopp and the lads get there. So again, great news all around. Tickets £10 for adults, as I said, and £5 for children. I can only imagine that it will be, the atmosphere will be unbelievable. Probably the next best thing to go into the game. So if you're going to be in Liverpool, you're going to travel over, there are the details. They're also on the club's website, and I think they're in the Echo as well. So if you want to get the exact precise details on it, and once again, tickets will be available at www.ticketquarter.co.uk. Right, I really think we need a creative midfielder, said Andrew Childerhouse. I keep saying the Echo Arena. I know people are even pulling me up here in the chat. Oh, and on that one, this is purely coincidental, and it genuinely is. Last night we were talking about Boss Nights and what amazing shows that they put on, and how I really enjoy them, and many of you guys who have been have really enjoyed them. Well, I noticed today that Boss Nights are putting on a send-off to Madrid show, again, at the M&S Bank Arena on May the 27th. I think it's Monday, May the 27th. And myself and Connor, and I think Chris and maybe Cash and a few more of the Anfield Agenda crew are going to be going to it. So we've already booked our flights back over to Liverpool. We've booked our hotel. So not tomorrow week, so Monday the 27th. If anybody wants to go to that Boss Night event, check out Boss Night's account on Twitter, or check out the Anfield Agenda account. I think we retweeted it from there. Maybe I didn't. Check out Boss Night's account on Twitter. Yeah, we're going to be there. It's going to be a massive send-off show. Obviously, you're going to have Jamie Webster. You're going to have various other people as well. we just thought, you know what, we can't get to Madrid. We're doing a watch along for the final here in my house. Why not go over to Liverpool, and why not have a good fucking laugh, and why not have a good send off and a good sing song, and a lot of enjoyment as well. So I'm looking forward to it. If you're in and around the city, or you're thinking of going, please do get in contact and let us know. The good thing about this event, ladies and gents, is that it's unreserved, so it doesn't matter if we all buy tickets at different times. There's no reserved seating. It's an all-standing event, I believe, so we can all just go in together. You know, we can go in as a group and we can have a laugh and we can film and we can have some fun and we can do all the things that you want to do to send the lads off on a good note. And I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah, credit where it's due. As I said, my first Boss Nights event. Really looking forward to going over to it. And I said, if you're going to be there, let us know. I'd love to meet up again with as many people as possible. How much are the tickets? I think, depending on booking fees and stuff here. So, I think the tickets themselves are priced at £20. But I think there's a few quid in booking fees depending on which way you book or which way you pay. But they're around £20. Actually, you can get the tickets from the M&S Bank Arena website. I think that's where they're being sold from. So go and check on there as well. Monday the 27th. I cannot wait. It's great fun. I couldn't believe when we looked, the flights were really reasonable as well. I think myself and Connor got a return flights from Dublin for about 68 quid. Something like that. So yeah, really reasonable to get over there. Got a hotel, no problem. Got the tickets. Can't wait. Going to be great fun. Are we doing a live stream for the final? You bet your backside we are, mate. Myself, Dave from Dave's LFC Chats, Connor and Brian Morrissey are all going to be in my house. We're going to do a preview show that day. We're going to do a watch along of the final. And I told you guys about the charity stream we're doing for our post-match show as well. So, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'll have Dave with me, Brian, Connor. And we'll even watch the Joshua fight later that night as well. So, yeah, I hope you can join us for that. We're going to make an entire day of it. It's not just going to be the usual. We're going to make an entire day of content because it's the motherfucking Champions League final. Why wouldn't you? Salah in talks at Real Madrid. No, he is not. He absolutely is not. Fabinho, Henderson, defensive creativity, midfield, a striker would be cool. Wait, sorry I'm late, Craig. What's the news about Ligt? Literally, it was the first thing I did, mate. I can't go back over it again. Sorry. We're interested in him. Just put it that way, buddy. I know we are interested in him. That's all I can say on that one. City will go for Ligt to replace Kompany, said Romeo KGT. They might well do, but they were also looking at somebody to come in and replace Fernandinho. Or well, I don't want to say replace. Is Fernandinho out of contract? Well, they have to look at replacing him long term. So they were looking at João Felix as well from Benfica. There was talk of the guy Fernandes, I think, as well. And I think there was a couple of other people they were looking at. I'm not sure exactly who, but yeah. Andrew Childerhouse said, wow, that's a great deal. I know, I couldn't believe the flights were so cheap last minute, Andrew. I couldn't believe it. Whereabouts is that in Liverpool, may I ask? It's formerly the Echo Arena, Scotty. So, right on the Albert Dock. Karius is playing in the Carabao Cup if Mignolet moves on. I don't think we'll keep Karius. I think he'll move on as well. But look, that's just guesswork. But I do have some news on Mignolet, actually. Again, sorry, will I just scroll through notes? Where the fuck is the Mignolet thing? Ah, yes. So, again, reading through articles today, some reports suggest Liverpool are going to allow Simon Mignolet to move on during this summer transfer window. He's been nothing but professional and he's been a great backup to Alisson Becker this season. You've seen him on social media if you follow him. He's been so supportive of the guys. The figures being mentioned, and if these are correct, I think they're about right. Liverpool are valuing Simon Mignolet somewhere around the £15 million mark. So there you go. I think, look, he wants to go and play, and I'd never hold anything against a player that just wants to play football. We should sign Keylor Navas as backup for Alisson. I don't think he'll want to come and play backup, Brian. I don't think he will, mate. I remember there was something going on about at Real Madrid about him and Zidane. Zidane, I think, wanted rid of him, and I think they came to a compromise, himself and Florentino Perez, over something, but I don't know. I know we disagree on this, Brian, because I want to promote youth and you want to bring through a backup goalkeeper with some experience. So, again, we can have this one out in a conversation, mate, when we're doing a podcast. It'd be a lot easier, won't it? And speaking of podcasts, again, just a reminder, there won't be a live stream tomorrow night because I'm going to be down in Connor's place. Myself, Brian and Connor are going to record a podcast and we're going to video it, so we're all doing it live together because I think it'll make for much better content. And that won't be coming out tomorrow. That'll be coming out sometime during the week, later, midweek probably, let's just say. So no live stream tomorrow. So No content tomorrow, I'm afraid, ladies and gents. But you know what? I'll stay on a little bit longer tonight and we'll go through as much as we can. Be back then on Tuesday and right for the rest of the week. He is, Craig, trust me, on the football app it says his agent was discussing it with Madrid. Yeah, mate, because people have never told lies in the media. Never. They've never made up stuff for clicks. Salah's agent is definitely talking to Real Madrid. No, he isn't. He's just signed a new deal, mate. He's not going to Real Madrid. Madrid want everybody under the sun, and Madrid are up shit creek. They lost again today in the final game of the season. Madrid are a bit like Manchester United at the minute, in that the club's a fucking shambles, and they're scrambling around trying to solve things and throw money at everything left, right and centre. But he's not going there. Why would he? We're better than Real Madrid at this moment in time. Much better than Real Madrid at this moment in time. So why the hell would Mo Salah go to Real Madrid? Makes no sense. Plus, Liverpool have him tied down to a long-term deal, so I mean, if Madrid come back in, okay, 250 million or fuck off, basically. So they won't be getting him. City in for Rodri to replace Fernandinho, said Mr. Fix. I remember reading that a while ago, mate, as well. I think you're spot on there. Lara said, thanks Robin and Ribery for all the nice football, but it's nice to skip Robin's dives. Mignolet to Norwich, said WD Red. I don't know, buddy. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if he does stay in England, though. Real Madrid just as nuts to pay 120 million for Pogba. Yeah, I mean, where do people think they're getting the money from? As you said, LFC fan. Pogba, they're looking at bringing in, very strongly linked to him. We know that they're probably going to get Hazard. They're looking at Christian Eriksen. And they need defenders as well, I think. Where are they getting all this money from? Because let's be honest, have they really got many players to move on? They're trying their best to get Gareth Bale out the door. They're even talking about loans there. I've seen a tweet from Mark Goldbridge beforehand saying that United have been brought as clear favourites with the bookies to sign the Gareth Bale. So I don't know what, but like, people are just, don't buy into all this Real Madrid propaganda nonsense. They're up shit creek. They're scrambling around trying to buy players. They ain't getting Mo Salah. John Cooper said, Craig, you make me laugh in a good way. Keep up the good work, from a Chelsea fan. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I know I'm a little bit off the wall at times, but it's me. That's who I am, buddy. The front three are only going after a number 6. That's it. Technically Salah is going to Madrid, as people keep pointing out, but it's to win the fucking Champions League final, and then he'll be getting on the plane and coming back and hopefully celebrating on the streets of Liverpool. Craig Weston said, Wilder's some serious power. Your thoughts on the fight? It was a vicious KO, Craig, wasn't it? I mean, flush on his chin and not a hope. I mean, he got back up after the 10 count, actually, to be fair to Dominic Brazil, but that was one hell of an impressive performance from Deontay Wilder. It was interesting to see that he carried about 11 pound extra into this fight than he had in his last fight, and it was more interesting to see that he wants the deal done with AJ, so hopefully we get the fights that we want. There's room for doubles and trilogies here between Fury, between Wilder, between Anthony Joshua. They have to make them. But yeah, it was a very impressive display. Have you seen Pepe Reina's latest comments on Liverpool? The guy bleeds Liverpool. Yeah, I'm kind of... I love Pepe Reina, but there was that time where he thought he was getting his move to Barcelona, and I'll always kind of have a little tinge of regret over the way he acted around that time. But yeah, he has been speaking very highly of Liverpool, and it's always good to see a former player speaking so highly about the club. Front three are going nowhere. Next, said Claire. Project Mum Kim said Fakir. I'd love Fakir as well. You've seen the thumbnail that we put up. Of the 5 players that are on that thumbnail, what 2 would you like? So again, just to reiterate, we're talking about Dybala, Fakir, Ziyech. Who else have we got on the thumbnail? Dybala, Fakir, Ziyech, Neres, and God, I always forget the 5th one. Can't remember, but whoever it is, let me see. Where's the thumbnail? Who's the 5th player on the thumbnail? Dybala, Fakir, Ziyech, Neres, and Werner. Yes, there you go. Of them 5, which 2 would you like to see at Liverpool? Spain's in danger of chocolate lands. I've no idea what that means, but I like the sound and the idea of chocolate lands. Right, so here are your comments. Werner and Depay. Pepe, I have something on Pepe as well to talk about. Morton, remind me of that in a couple of minutes. Werner and Depay, Dybala and Werner. Timo Werner and Fekir to Kirby Power. Dybala and Neres, at Liverpool legend. Dybala and Ziyech, said MC. Paul Greaves reckons, or is it Greaves? Yes, it is Greaves. Says Nicolas Pepe. Again, 2 seconds, buddy. I do have a little bit of info on Nicolas Pepe. Do you think the Premier League will go stale if City keep winning it? As my good friend Farrell said to me, mate, football is cyclical and it does work around. I think Pep will move on, and I've seen a few things today actually really strongly linking him with Juventus. Now, I don't know if this is when his contract at City is up, and I believe Pep has 2 years left on his Manchester City contract. I don't think it will go stale, mate, because we're going to be there challenging them, and we're going to be right there with them. So look at this year. I mean, they won the treble this year, but they were pushed all the way by us in the Premier League. They were a bit fortunate in one of the cups. A little bit went their way against Swansea. But look, they won the treble, and that's a fact now. So I don't think it'll go stale, though. Why so many people don't like Sturridge? I don't know. I haven't seen too much really dislike towards Sturridge EF. I know people are frustrated over his injuries, but he's given us some wonderful moments and scored some fantastic, unforgettable goals. The one against Chelsea this season, the one against Sevilla in the Europa League final. That 13-14 season, himself and Suarez were absolutely sensational. So for me, I've got nothing bad to say about Danny Sturridge. I just wish the injuries hadn't happened and we could have seen the best of him at Liverpool more often. Andrew Childerhouse said, I'd take Fekir. Alan McCalmont said, Craig, Matip or Gomez for the final? Joe Matip for me, Alan. I think, again, talking about the rhythm that Klopp says, players in a rhythm. Joe Matip has been sensational. For me, him. And it's better than if they were to bring on, say, Llorente or start with Llorente, then you've got Van Dijk and Matip there, 2 tall players that can challenge Llorente in the air. So I'd go with Joe Matip personally. And I hope that we see Trent at right back. I hope he doesn't go Gomez at right back, because Trent has earned and deserves that start, in my humble opinion. Ziyech and Werner for Samex Dragon. Fekir said Adita, he really wants to play for Liverpool. I'd love him. I really would love him, mate. I was so disappointed in that last year. Depay, it was Memphis Depay, was that the other one? Depay and Werner said Dean. Depay is ex-United, which what? It doesn't mean anything, mate, in this day and age, really, does it? Would anybody care if he was ex-United? Maybe you would, I don't know. De Ligt and Ziyech at Liverpool Football Club. Fekir and Werner, or maybe De Ligt. See, we've got lots of people in the chat as well tonight. I think there's 370 odd people watching. Hello to all of you. I know sometimes people don't like to put comments in, but I just want to let you know we do value you being here. Thank you so much for giving us your time. If you're enjoying the stream, ladies and gents, please do hit that subscribe button. We've gone past 15.6k, which is great. Thank you. So please do keep hitting that button, and of course don't forget to drop a thumbs up on the stream. Out of City Cop said, good stream, dude, keep it up. Thank you very much, my friend. Really appreciate the kind words. Dave's LFC chat said Fekir and Werner. How are we linked with De Ligt? Gone through it already, Tyler, unfortunately, buddy, and I can't keep going back over it, mate. I'm sorry. Just if you want to have a quick Google of it, just Google Guillaume Balaguer De Ligt, and you'll probably get the story there. Seamus Smith said, we need a central attacking midfielder and somebody who plays on the left but can do all 3 front positions. So we need a central attacking mid and somebody who plays on the left but can do all 3 front positions. I'm not sure we need just somebody who can play on the left, but I do agree with exactly what you're saying, Seamus. Need a central attacking mid and somebody who can play across the front 3. I don't know if they have to be on the left only, but I do absolutely agree with the gist of where you're going with that. Wayne said, Craig, Liverpool is going to sign a player that we're not talking about. I think you're right, Wayne. I think you're absolutely spot on, my friend. And Jurgen Klopp is a great man for pulling a rabbit out of the hat, isn't he? So that's what makes it so exciting. A lot of people believe some transfers won't be announced until after the Champions League final. No idea if that's true or not. I suppose it is clever though, because if we were to win, then it would only increase the joy, and if we were to not be successful, then it would provide a little bit of a boost. But still, I'd love it to happen tomorrow. I'd love to wake up tomorrow and see a transfer done. The Irish Beard said, it's crazy to think that Manchester City's done something amazing yesterday and literally nobody cares. Everybody supported City throughout the season and now are realising just how ridiculous it is. Fuck them. I don't really want to keep going back to Manchester City. you are kind of correct in what you're saying, and there's a little bit of bitterness coming through from Pep and a few other bits and pieces that you're seeing. I don't know what to say. I don't want to be that guy that just keeps coming on bitching about Manchester City, so I agree with you, but I'm going to just push on because I don't want to keep being accused. I don't want to be the person that people say is obsessed about City, because I really fucking amn't. Kompany out from City. I think it's good for Liverpool, said EF. He was a tremendous captain for that football club, and we wished him well earlier on. Bruno Fernandes or Coutinho, said Sean Kennedy. I'd probably take Coutinho, mate. I'd probably take Coutinho, you know, if it was between those two. The Coutinho thing, yeah, this is really, really, really... I'm torn on the Coutinho thing both ways. I can completely understand it if it was something that Klopp wanted and the price was right. And I've no doubt that he'd slip back into the system and he'd start being the Coutinho that we remember. But I don't know if it'll happen. But then again, I don't know if any of the transfers are going to happen. And that's what makes this so great. Every other club, like you look at United now and you can see some genuine links there. You know, maybe Pogba's moving on. You know, they're looking at the likes of Koulibaly, that young kid James from Swansea. They were linked to Longstaff from Newcastle. You look at Chelsea and you can see that the motherfuckers can't do anything because they've got a transfer ban. You can look at Manchester City and you can see certain links there to João Felix and stuff as well. But you look at Liverpool and you don't know. You really don't know because it's gone so quiet behind the scenes at the club. I like that. I love the Fabinho type transfers. I love the way we don't get a sniff or something and then Van Dijk standing there holding up his shirt. Fekir's gone to PSG. Depay and Werner are realistic, said Neil Elliott. I really hope Fekir doesn't go to PSG just because I like him. And if he goes to PSG, I'll probably instantly dislike him because I hate that club so much, Neil. Pep or Zidane, who is better? As a manager, if this genuinely, I don't think as a manager that Zidane is fit to lace Pep Guardiola's boots as a manager. I know he won the Champions League 3 years in a row with Real Madrid, and that is an unbelievable achievement, but I think Pep Guardiola is a much better manager than Zinedine Zidane. Much, much, much better. He's got a longer track record as well. Yeah, I would take Pep Guardiola every day of the week over Zinedine Zidane. We're linked with about 20 players, so Paul Greaves, which is great. I did say I would circle around to Nicolas Pepe, for those of you that were wondering about him. Got so many notes today. Okay, that one. Okay, so Lille manager Christophe Galtier has confirmed that Nicolas Pepe will leave the club this summer. So that is happening. Nicolas Pepe is moving on. He scored 21 goals and 12 assists from 39 games this season. And I know that he is a player that lots of Liverpool fans want us to sign. I have been honest all along and I've said I've not seen very much, if anything, of this Pepe guy. So I'm going to turn this one over to you, ladies and gentlemen, and I want your opinion on him. How good is he? Is he better than Werner? Would he suit our system? I'm relying on your knowledge here because, as I said, I know very little about the guy. We need a goal poacher, said Dirty Girl. Griezmann looks Barcelona bound, said Mr. Fix-It. No doubt you'll hit 20k during the Champions League final. I actually feel that might be a quiet enough stream. Because there's going to be, one, it's going to be free on BT's YouTube channel. Two, everybody will be covering it. Every YouTube channel will be covering that one. All the big boys, everybody, because it is the biggest game in European football. So I hope we get some extra subscribers. I hope people come along and join us for it. But most importantly for everybody, I just hope that we win it because you all deserve it. I deserve it. You deserve it. Dave, Connor, Brian, everyone around the world deserves to be celebrating on that night. We need a left back. Back up for Robbo, said Claire Dean. Why so many Reds fans hate Sturridge. I've already gone through that one. Connor Masterson and two other Irish lads released today. Oh, I didn't see that one, Greg. Thank you. Who are the other two lads, if you don't mind me asking, Greg? Please tell me Queevy and Callagher wasn't one of them. I had somebody mentioned to me on the stream the other night that Masterson looked like he was going to be moved on. So maybe that was you, Greg, but whoever it was, you got that one spot on. But I'd love to know who the other two lads were, Greg, if you have a moment. We don't sell or sign the elite players, said Elijah John. Yeah, but when you're talking about that, mate, we do sign them if they're young. So maybe you're talking about the really, 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 like, let's say, Kylian Mbappe. We can safely say we're not going to sign him. Neymar, we're not going to sign him, even though I don't class him up in the elite of world footballers, mainly because I don't like him. So the Ronaldos, the Messis, they're type of players that we never sign. Liverpool turn players into superstars. The problem had been that when we did that, sometimes these players moved on. Now we're in a position where we can still get these great players in. We can turn them into world beaters, to absolute superstars, to Mohamed Salahs, to Sadio Mane's, the Virgil van Dijks, and keep them. And that's the important part, keeping them. We've always been quite clever in purchasing players. And we've been quite thankful as well that our managers have been able to mould those players, and nobody better than Jurgen Klopp. But it's always just been about keeping these guys when they're in their peak. I think we're in a position to do that now, which I absolutely love. Low Fat's in. How are you, sir? You might have missed it earlier on in the stream, buddy, but we did take a couple of minutes to just pay and mark Vincent Kompany's leaving of Manchester City and say what a great centre back he was and how we wish him well. Because all banter and stuff aside, mate, the man was class. Class for you guys, great captain, and I see you're in there, so I just wanted to go back over it and let you know that it's not always hate in here towards Manchester City, buddy. And how are you? I hope you're keeping well. Would rather that Omar guy, aka the Turkish Messi. What's his name? Is it Omar or Amor? I thought it was Amor. That's gone quiet on him. And he was seen as an Adam Lallana type replacement who it looks like will almost certainly leave the club this summer. A couple of media outlets now report, and we spoke about it on last night's stream, it seems like his former club Southampton could be his preferred destination, and a figure of around the 13 million mark, which I think is a little bit too little for Adam Lallana, but maybe the club just wants him to go somewhere where he'll be happy and they're willing to maybe take a few quid less. I don't know, but it's looking very, very likely that Adam Lallana is going to move on this summer, and I've been saying that for months and months and months, that I think Lallana might be one to go. Yeah, I think we've gone past him now as a club. When he came, I spoke about it again last night, he was very important to our press, and he was excellent and a really important part of our system. Injuries have taken their toll, and of course his age as well. Now it does seem like a good time to move him on. But of course, if he does go, nothing but love for Adam Lallana, and I'd wish him all the best. Would I take Coutinho back? 2 weeks ago, Scotty, I would have said not a snowball's chance in hell, mate. But then I'm hearing Carragher talking about it. I'm hearing Tomo talking about it. I'm hearing fellow Reds talking about it. People in the chat here giving me reasons why maybe it might work. I think the honest answer for me now is it will come down to money and what we would have to pay to get him back and what we could get for that money. So if you're talking 80 million for Felipe Coutinho, or you're looking at being able to get, as an example, Ziyech and Memphis Depay for around the same type of money, maybe a few quid more, then I'd rather go and sign the two players to give ourselves more cover. If a good deal could be worked, then yeah, maybe bring him back. Would I take Mbappe if we could? Oh, yes, dog treating. I think Kylian Mbappe is going to be, this is no like shock, but he is going to be the best footballer in the world probably for the next 8-10 years. He's a great footballer. Edwards could get at least 400 million for Lallana, said Harry Carling. Van Dijk, text the Ligt, come and join, said Dirty Girl. Please do, Verge, if you're watching. And I know you're a big fan of the show. I mean, us cool dudes stick together, Van Dijk. So if you are watching, maybe hit him up on WhatsApp or something, let him know. Will Man City try and get Ligt as a replacement for Kompany? Again, you'd imagine every top club, Ben, in Europe should be looking at Ligt. But the good thing in these situations is there's often been months and months and months of groundwork put into getting players like that. Managers and agents have to be wooed and players spoken to, and them explained how they'd fit into our system or what the vision is going forward. And they're usually, for transfers like that, there's a lot of groundwork laid. So I'd imagine the Reds have probably done that, Barcelona have probably done that, maybe Manchester City have been doing that, I don't know, but I don't know. Whoever gets him is getting one hell of a player. I think that's all we can say. We get 12 subs for the final. Who are your 12 subs? Mate, I'm not going to sit here and name 12 subs off the top of my head. Sorry. Do you think Klopp's the best manager right now in England or even in the world? It's a kind of a loaded question, Kirby, because I think he's the best manager in the world for Liverpool Football Club. I couldn't think of anybody more suited to us. But you've got to pay massive respect to Pep Guardiola as well. I mean, he's one hell of a manager. I know people say he's a checkbook manager, but the world needs checkbook managers. The world needs managers to manage elite players at the top level as well. But I just think for us, where we are, I wouldn't swap Jurgen Klopp for anybody. Stephen Richard said, Craig couldn't give a shit who he signs between Klopp and Michael Edwards. The good deals will be done. No, 80 million for Coutinho is a no-no, said Dirty Girl. Doc Q said Ben Godfrey from Norwich as a centre-back option if we don't sign Ligt. I wouldn't imagine that Norwich would be looking to sell off their best players after getting promoted to the Premier League. Yeah, that would be absolute suicide from their point of view. Low Fat said Manchester City will not be buying Ligt. He's too expensive for us, and that's coming straight from a knowledgeable Manchester City fans. Well, I was going to say from your mouth, but from your keyboard, which is good news to us people that hope he signs for Liverpool. Luke Johnston 98 said I don't want Coutinho back. He's already proven he's quick to jump when the big spenders come looking for him. Do you think our mystery transfer will be Rabiot on a free? Yeah, it's gone quite quiet, hasn't it, on Adrian Rabiot? You'd seen him linked to Barca, you'd seen him linked to us, I'd seen him linked to Spurs, I'd seen him linked to Real Madrid, I'd seen him linked to staying to Paris Saint-Germain. It is mad that it's so quiet over him, because technically he could have signed for somebody in January outside of France. I know he said, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, I read somewhere that if he did come to the Premier League, Liverpool would absolutely be where he'd want to be. Now I know Spurs are interested in him, and it would be a very Daniel Levy type transfer to do, but the problem with Spurs might be the wages. But then again, they've had such a good run in the Champions League, they'll have some television revenue as well, so you never know. Man, big eyes, man. I don't know where to go with that, my friend. I don't know whether you're telling me I'm a freak or you're saying I like your eyes, but either way, welcome into the chat. Van Dijk's son wears Anfield Agenda pyjamas. Oh, imagine he's sitting there with an Anfield Agenda mug, a fucking mug, sipping out of a Van Dijk. I mean, just kill me then. That would be it. Life couldn't get any better than that. Craig, do you see Pep lose his regular reporter about illegal payments? Did he lose his rag? Maybe for Pep that is losing his rag, I don't know. But what he didn't do, Stephen, was answer the fucking question. That's what he didn't do. And that's what's very interesting about it to me. And look, I don't want to accuse Pep Guardiola of any improprieties. I've said all along when I've spoken about the fact that my disdain for Manchester City was mainly aimed towards the owners and the way the club is funded. I've always said that I don't think the manager or the players hold any responsibility over that whatsoever. They're just there to do the job. And to be fair to Manchester City, Pep Guardiola has done an excellent job there. But it would have been much easier for him to just answer the question by saying, of course I didn't. No, that's a silly thing to ask, and just move on. He seemed a little bit rattled over something. I don't know what that might be, but it's a good sign. And I like anybody showing any sign of weakness. Ella said that she wouldn't go near Coutinho. What else we got? Alright, mate, how's trick, said Liam Granby. One name I'm surprised hasn't been mentioned is Atletico Bilbao's Iñaki Williams. Yeah, Iñaki Williams is again another one that a few years ago, buddy, everywhere being hyped up as one of the best young prospects in Europe. He'd always looked very raw, he's got tremendous pace and an eye for goal, but yeah, as you said, it is nuts. He's gone very, very quiet, and a very good player that with the likes of Jurgen Klopp as a coach to develop him could be outstanding. So that's a great shout, Liam, and one that hasn't had much headlines at all. Angroid said, what a nightmare having to name 12 subs, Craig. How about naming every fan that was in the ground versus Wolves? Yeah, I mean, to name 12 subs, I mean, it's great that option is there. But I mean, I'd rather have a go at the starting 11, to be fair. Jersey Boy said, Craig, apparently in the summer, Sané and Gabriel Jesus might leave Manchester City. Would I buy Jesus if I could? I'd rather have Sané. I know they wouldn't sell to us. There's no amount of money that they'd sell to us for, but of those two, I would take Leroy Sané in a heartbeat. The kid is outstanding. And look, maybe Guardiola doesn't like something about him. I don't know. Maybe his development is slow. I don't know. I can't say why he doesn't get more starts for Manchester City. Maybe Lofat is the man to ask for that. But of those two, mate, Leroy Sané for me is a much better player. Elijah John said, we're currently the 6th richest club in the world. I read that last week. Pa Norton said, Ligt to us and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain back fit will be perfect, and a few backup players as well. Rabiot will join Spurs, said Neil Elliott. It's a very Daniel Levy type transfer, Neil, mate. As I said earlier on, it's just the signing on fee or the wages, because Spurs have a wage structure that they haven't really broke. So maybe just wait and see. But it is a good show. Okay, again, trying to get through as many of your comments as possible, guys, on it. I do apologise because I know at times I miss lots of people. So if I do miss a comment, please don't take it personally. I'll try my best to get through as many as I can. Jax Page said, Iñaki Williams is still a beast, high potential, and still playing within himself. Would I like Mbappe? Yes. He is top of my list, Lewis. Of any player I could have in world football to join Liverpool Football Club, Kylian Mbappe would top that list. Hey Craig, even as a Spurs fan, I tried to watch your stream. Said, oh no. Thank you, buddy. And from watching, you'll know I've nothing but respect, mate, for your club. We're going to have expressions on, by the way. What date was I saying? The 29th, so Wednesday. Yes, not this Wednesday coming, the following Wednesday. So the Wednesday of the week of the Champions League final, we're going to have expressions on, and we're going to do a preview with him ahead of the Champions League final. Always great fun to catch up with expressions. He's such a good lad. I should say the award-winning expressions as well, because he won Best Vlogger at the FBAs, and I was so happy from that he did. When Manchester City won the league, I said fair play, you guys deserve it, but then they sung LA, LA, LA. I knew we deserved it more. Look, if you win the league, you deserve it. I mean, you can't argue with that. It's 38 games, everybody plays everybody twice. They do deserve it. The singing of the song was shithousery. It was pathetic, and we've spoken about it as well. But to win the league, you can't argue about it. You play everyone twice. Krishna said, the Ligt is great, but do we really need to spend 60 million on him instead of a forward or winger? Yes and no. You could move on. You could semi-fund it by moving on some players. So, for instance, a few articles were out actually the other day saying Liverpool hope to bring in 100 million in player sales this summer. The list went like Kleiny, Lallana, Mignolet, Grujic was actually on the list, Wilson was on the list, and they were talking about a few more players as well that they hope to move on to free up wages and raise some money. So, add that to the fact that we're already a very profitable club this year, Krishna, with over 100 million posted in profit. Then all the Champions League revenue we're bringing in. Then there's going to be that new kit supplier deal as well, which will probably be a record-breaking deal for an English club. The club has money, mate, and when somebody like the Ligt becomes available, as we said earlier on, even if you kept him for 5 or 6 years, he's not even going to be in his peak then, so you can only imagine what he'd be worth. Pepe, we kind of touched on, Riley. The coach of Lille has said that he's definitely leaving. Christophe Galtier confirmed Nicolas Pepe will be leaving the club. Sané doesn't get in our front three. Yeah, mate, but it's not about an immediate replacement for our front three, Scott Buddy. It's about a collective and rotation. And if we're going to be looking to play 50 to 60 games next season, Premier League, Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and go as far as we can in all of them, we can't just keep playing Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino. So you do need a strong bench. So if Sané comes in, he might not be in a Champions League final 11. He might not get right into the team. But think about him, mate, as an option coming off the bench. Think about the impact he had in Manchester City's game against United when the game was tied. He came on and turned the game. United shit themselves. Having players like that to come off the bench has been, or not having players like that to come off the bench has been our downfall in recent times. We've always had a good 11, but sometimes we lack that strength and depth. And for me, somebody like him would be class. Did you say that you would have Son from Spurs? Oh, in a heartbeat. Yeah, he would suit our system immensely. But again, we're not going to sign Son. Declan McCarthy said, I will kick off if Shaqiri goes. My only criticism of Klopp is his treatment of him. He gave us something different, and those run of draws when he came was removed from the squad. I think I might have some good news for you there, Declan, mate. You led me into this rather nicely, buddy, so thank you. Jurgen Klopp was speaking earlier on about some players, and I read an interview with him, and it seems to suggest that Shaqiri will be going nowhere. Declan, you'll be happy to know this summer. So Klopp spoke and he said, Alisson and Virgil, for example, have had the biggest impact this season because they've played in almost all of our games. But players such as Fabinho and Shaqiri are very important parts of the team too. They're not at the top of their game, but they've made important steps in their development. The journey is not over, not for anyone. So what I took from that is that he still believes there's more development and more to come from Shaqiri and of course Fabinho, as he said. So I don't think he's going to move Shaqiri on this summer, Declan. So I think he just thinks he's not at the level yet and he might just get there. I don't lose sleep not winning the Champions League, really. I'm just enjoying the football, said Low Fat. Sané is a risk, attitude is questionable. Low Fat, mate, if you have a second, what would be your thoughts from a Manchester City perspective over Leroy Sané, and how have you viewed him during his time at the club? Please God win the Champions League. God knows Klopp deserves it, said LFC 5. Spurs have supposedly reached personal agreement with Ndombele. Do you think that will be big for us? Anyone who signs Ndombele, mate's getting a class player. He's very, very good. And you need midfielders. That's abundantly clear. The fact that you've got through that Champions League final, mate, with the midfield that you've had at times with Sissoko and Wanayama, who, look, I don't mean to be little, but, you know, they haven't been a great success so far, or overall at Spurs. But yeah, Ndombele would be class for you. So if you've agreed with him, yeah, I think it'd be a very good move. We're already behind the City before Sané came off the bench. Sorry, Jack. I mean, my memory slipped me there, but he absolutely shit yourselves when he came on, if you remember. And he did have a massive impact on the game. And that second goal, I think, came quite quickly. But either way, having a player like Sané coming off the bench is a tremendous asset to any club. Have we got somebody new? And oh, John Hamilton's in as well. John, how are you? Willow's in. Willow, how are you? Again, just a shout out, I mentioned earlier on, myself and Connor, I think maybe Cash and I think maybe Chris are going to be going to the boss night in the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool, formerly the Echo Arena, on Monday the 27th, so not tomorrow, the following Monday. It's their send-off for Madrid, or their I don't know what they're actually calling the show, but it's basically a season end, off to Madrid we go show. Tickets are on sale via the M&S Arena's website. If you're going to go, please do let us know, because it's an unreserved event, which means if you buy tickets you don't have a specific area, so we can all go in together and we can all group together and have a bit of fun. So if you're going to go, please do let me know on the Anfield Agenda Twitter account at Anfield Agenda, or just bang us off an email, anfieldagenda@outlook or anfieldagenda@gmail.com. Fabinho's absolutely boss. I love him, said Glenn, or Glenny. He is class, mate. I know people are... It's funny because if you think back to earlier on in the season, people were losing their fucking mind that he wasn't getting a start. And the same the year before for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and for Andy Robertson. But Jurgen Klopp knows best. And when Jurgen Klopp introduced Fabinho, he hit the ground running. And we can all see how great he is. And it's a travesty that Tete, or whatever the fucking Brazil manager's name is, didn't pick him for the Copa America. Obviously, from a selfish point of view, it's good for Liverpool, but... I mean, Fabinho's class. Any opinion on Ziyech at 25 million? Leo, I think he'd be a no-brainer if that's the number. I would like to see us maybe pitch a little bit higher, but as in to a higher calibre, because I think there's better than Ziyech out there. But at 25 million as an option, it would be absolutely no-brainer. Where have we gone? Pranav said, off topic, I know, but you're aware of a few good mental health issues on football, 2 different charities, foundations, let me know. He said Mark, I'm Craig, but if I'm aware of a few good mental health issues on football, 2 different charities, foundations, then let me know. I can't think off the top of my head. There are a couple of mental health charities set up around football, but off the top of my head, mate, I cannot think of them. If I'll try my best to research them, or maybe somebody can have a quick Google of them now. But yeah, off the top of my head, I can't quite think. Pranav, mate. But yeah, very kind of you. And we are doing a charity stream, as I've told you guys before, on the Champions League final in our post-match show. That'll be in aid of Cystic Fibrosis Ireland. I'm not going to go into the long spiel again. I'll speak about it closer to the time. Hope we give Harry Wilson, I hope he gets a run the team this season. Couple of people, Tom, suggested that Harry Wilson will be sold by Liverpool this summer. If we do sell him, we'd be foolish not to have a buyback or first refusal clause in that contract, because yeah, it would be just ridiculous to let him go and then see him possibly flourish somewhere and not have put that in the contract that we first refusal on bringing him back. I want Liverpool to win the Champions League just because of me, said Jack. That's really kind of you, mate. And I know as a United fan that must be tough. But thank you so much. I wonder what Everton fans are singing after Liverpool 4, Barcelona 0. I don't know. I've no idea, ADM, but fuck them. Fuck them, the bitter little fuckers. Fabinho will be the world to Craig Weston. I'm a Man United fan, but Liverpool should have won the league, said Oliver. It was a tremendous battle, mate. That's all that I can say. I congratulated Manchester City on winning the league, but it is difficult to get 97 points and not win it. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Craig, say my TV is now called Big Cock TV because it's the 65 inch. Nice. I'm still jealous, Stephen, that you've got that 65 inch TV, mate. Me having to make do with a 55 inch in my gaff. Every time I look at it, I just go, it's not as big as Stephen's. There's a joke in there somewhere as well. Low Fat said, I'd take that kid you've got, Trent. Never going anywhere, buddy. Never. Future captain of Liverpool. Maybe even future England captain. I absolutely love Trent Alexander-Arnold. Do I think Liverpool should look at Jadon Sancho, I think you meant to say, Scott. Klopp said he did. He did look at him when he was leaving City, and Manchester City just wouldn't talk to us about him. So I think Jadon Sancho would be best to stay at Borussia Dortmund for another season and continue his development. He's going to get another year in the Champions League. Probably another very competitive season in the Bundesliga. I think he's comfortable there. If I was advising him, I'd say, look, no rush. Keep developing. You're only going to get better. He's part of Gareth Southgate's England plans now as well. So not this year, but of course you want Liverpool to be linked with all the best young players, and we have been linked to quite a few of them. City deserved to win the league though. We were truly amazing, said Elijah John 5. Don't really massively rate Harry Wilson, said Harry Carling. Scores worldies but can drift out of games. If we can get 20 to 30 million, I would take it. I probably agree with you. I certainly have spoken about exactly what you said there about him drifting in and out of games, and yes, he can take an amazing free kick and he can score penalties and he's great delivery from set pieces, but he is still developing, and we're at a level now where it would make more sense to sell him, free up cash, and then include a buyback clause rather than just loaning him out again. But again, loaning him out would still be a better option for me. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready for our team, but it's Jurgen Klopp's decision. That matters, not mine. Stevie Richard said, Craig, could Harry Wilson be on the bench for Liverpool? No, he isn't registered, buddy, as a Liverpool player for the season, so he won't be on the bench. Pranav said, oh sorry Craig, I watch a lot of Mark Goldbridge, and as you should. Mark runs a very good channel. It's alright. I've been called worse, mate. It's okay. But thank you again for the super chat, and I will try and look into it, mate, because I'm sorry I couldn't give you a more direct answer there straight away. Coleman's in and he's saying, glory, glory, Man United. How are you, mate? Welcome in. I'm always so happy to see everybody back in their team, mate, even when a club like yours is up shit creek at the moment. Would I be happy if we got Coutinho, Werner and Ligt? It'd be a pretty good win though, Yibber, to be fair. How could you... Oh, yeah, I would be, mate. I'm not going to lie. Pre-season tour in America with the Reds, said Luke Nelms. City won their last 14 league games. Nothing we could do. Exactly. Since they lost to Newcastle, they didn't drop a single point. From January right through to the last day of the season, Manchester City won 14 games in a row, and and we did well just to keep up with them, to push them right to the end. So yeah, it's a sickener. I'm not gonna lie. Param said 16k, not that far away now. Yeah, I hope we get there for the Champions League final. I really do, or in and around the Champions League final. It would be a nice push for the end of the season. If you are watching, guys, and you are enjoying the stream, please do hit that button. Every single subscription counts, and don't forget, all our content on here is free. It's always going to be free. Yeah, that's nothing else to say. It's always going to be free. Dybala as a Firmino substitute. What's your thoughts on that, Craig? Yes, please, Evans, excuse me. Yes, please, is my thoughts. I'm a massive fan of Dybala, and somebody said to me earlier on as well that they think he's been underutilised at Juventus and that he's been underperforming because maybe Allegri wasn't getting the best out of him. I think there are levels still left to go in Dybala's game, and I'd love him. I'd absolutely love him. What's this whole thing about Press Salah there? Big news? What? Let me just scroll back up to the chat. Where is Prez's comments? Sorry guys, I've seen a couple of people talking about a comment Prez Salah made. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, no, I can't see it. Maybe somebody could put it in for me. Maybe somebody could refresh me or let me know what he's talking about. Connor's delighted because Mark Obridge gave him a follow on Twitter today. There you go. And well done, Mark. Connor deserves a follow. And if anybody else wants to give Connor a follow on Twitter, I think it's @ConnorCrosby_. So @Connor, and his name as it is there on the screen, CONO or CROSBIE_. I think that's the way it is, isn't it, Connor? He also designed a really cool new header for us on Twitter. I did kind of say Connor designed us a really cool new header there on Twitter, mate, would you? But he did, as always. He knocked it out of the park. Can't wait to see how good Brewster is. Paul, oh mate, I've been banging on about this kid for months, and it's no surprise, it's no secret. He is damn good. I just don't want us to put too much pressure on him because, you know, with young players coming through, sometimes they hit the ground running to do really well, and then manager will withdraw them for a while, kind of debrief them and push them back in slowly. He's very young, but sometimes when they're that good, you just can't hold them back, Paul. He broke through this season and the injury he couldn't help. He's a little Van Dijk, said Charlie Frexelson. I don't know who you're talking about there, mate. Sorry, I missed part of that comment. Mbappe dropped the hint that he could move away from France in his awards speech. I don't blame him. To be fair, he deserves better than PSG. He's too good for that club, in my opinion. Low Fat said, I think Liverpool and City, the race was the best I've ever seen. It was sensational, mate, to be fair, from both clubs. For them to hit 98 and 97 points. I know you guys hit 100 points the season before, but I'm just proud of our guys. I know obviously you are clearly of yours, but for us to have got 97 points, to pull back like 20 something points from last season, or to improve by 20 something points, yeah, it was a kick in the nuts that we didn't win it, but we do have that Champions League final to look forward to, so I'm just proud. I think that's been the overwhelming feeling from Liverpool fans this season. Loads of people just saying fake news. Love seeing United fans coming in here and being proper fans. Fair play, said Germanis. That's a great comment, mate. An absolutely brilliant comment. Thank you. Yeah, we've been very lucky that we've had some really nice Manchester United fans, some nice City fans. We've got our Gooner friend that's in all the time as well. Some Spurs fans that come in. And I never thought that when the channel started. I thought this was going to be purely Liverpool centric and we wouldn't get anybody else in. The only opposition fans we'd get in are people coming in to troll us. But we've been very fortunate, and that's what I keep saying. It's football. Football draws us all together, and to learn from each other and share opinions, it's great. So to all those non-Liverpool fans that do come in and visit our stream, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and thank you for being just good footballing people and coming in and, you know, just giving. You mightn't agree with what I say, you mightn't have any interest in Liverpool, but we're a football channel, and I like to get perspectives from opposition fans because it all helps us learn, and it helps us understand you guys, and it helps us understand maybe why we disagree on certain things. And it's okay to disagree on certain things if you talk it out, and that's what's happened on here, and I love to see it. So again, much love to all the opposition fans that come in and give us their time. What else we got? Craig, how much would you pay to get Phil, as in Coutinho? Just over half of what we sold him for. Somewhere between 70 and 80, maybe 85 max. Anything over that, and I think there's better value out there, Ibra, mate. Low Fat said, if City would have lost it, it would have been a really good Liverpool side. I'd still have been gutted. I just couldn't believe you didn't drop any fucking points in the last 14 games. I mean, I kept saying it's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're going to drop points, and we're going to be there, and they're going to drop points, and they can't go unbeaten. And you fucking did. And it was... Yeah, it wasn't great for us. Let's be honest about it. Do you think anybody will ever go invincible again? Yeah, it will probably happen at some point. I don't see why not. But what is... Actually, I want to ask on that one, and we've got fans from all clubs in, so I do want to ask a question on that. What's more impressive? That Arsenal invincible season where they were unbeaten, or a 100-point season from City, say? Which one of the two do you think is more impressive? I would go with the 100 points, personally. I think... Like, yeah, you can go through a season unbeaten, maybe draw. I don't know how many games Arsenal drew, but let's throw out 8 games or 7 games as draws. to reach 100 points in the league. That's 33 wins and 1 draw roughly out of 38 games. That is, to me, that's a bigger achievement. We can talk about the squads and all that stuff, different conversation, but purely based on an invincible season or 100 points, what do you guys think was the better season? Barcelona still owes 42 million from Coutinho. If they sell him, Paul, apparently we lose out on 20 because of a clause that he has to play a certain amount of games. I think he's short of that amount of games for that next part of the clause to kick in. 60 mil max for Coutinho, said Craig Weston. 100 points is better, said Patrick. I think most people are going with 100 points. Liam said, what are your thoughts on the stuff coming out about Ligt and talks with us? If the 55 million, even 60 million thing is true, Liam, that's a bargain for a player of his quality, and I do hope we're in that conversation. Guillaume Balaguer, as I touched on earlier on, suggested that Liverpool are really, really interested in it. And again, I talked about Barcelona being reluctant to pay Mino Raiola's agent's fees, so maybe that opens the door for us. I don't know. I really don't like Mino Raiola though. I mean, as an agent, everything about that guy annoys me. So loads, 100 points. I think it's almost unanimous here. 100 points, everybody feels, is better than that Arsenal invincible season. Except Skeeter said undefeated because of no financial doping. Look, pushing that aside, buddy, I get your point. But I just wanted to know from a sporting perspective which one is better. Cape Town Muslim said, nice Manchester United fans. There's no such thing. Just kidding. There are, mate, to be fair. Heme said, good night, Craig. A-level starting tomorrow. I wish you every success, mate. I hope you knock it out of the park. I can see from you being in here that you're an intelligent person, so I hope you do well. And just let us know how you get on. And thank you for all your time on here. 80 million is too much for Coutinho, said Aziz. Remember, we lose 20 million if they sell him this summer, which I just spoke about. I love when that happens. Sometimes I mention things and then I read a few comments down and bang, there it is on the screen. I think everybody has said 100 points. Morton said, and thank you for the research on this, Morton, Arsenal had 26 wins and 12 draws. Yeah, I mean 100 points to me is better. Low Fat said, invincible at the time was jaw dropping. United treble made me physically sick but immense. 100 points though, I mean it's 100 points. It's crazy. City won last season because of Kevin De Bruyne. He had a stunning season, said Teapot. He's a wonderful footballer, Kevin De Bruyne. Guys, forget about Coutinho. He won't be coming back. Klopp would never take him back. That's what I've always said, Elijah John. The way he left the club left a sour taste in the mouth, and I don't know how, obviously I have no idea how Klopp feels about it, but what we do know from articles, and an excellent article written by Melissa Reddy, said that he went behind Jurgen Klopp's back to other senior players to try and get them to have a word in the manager's ear to try and push through that transfer to Barcelona, and I don't think that went down well with Jurgen Klopp. Rivals, not enemies, Jack, which is a very, very good way of putting it, mate. We are rivals, and I think as football fans, I've said this time and time again, sometimes we're too quick to vilify each other, and we should have each other's back more, specifically when it comes to the treatment of football fans travelling to European away games and stuff. I've seen incidents where Liverpool fans were completely harshly treated. I've seen incidents where Arsenal fans were overly harshly treated, United fans overly harshly treated, and rather than say, oh, they deserve it, they're a bunch of pricks, I think sometimes we need to look at it from a collective point of view here and go, well, hang on. These guys are clearly being treated heavy-handedly by stewards or police or whoever it might be, and we could be over playing that club next season. So it's very short-sighted at times for us to just point the finger at clubs and go, fans acting like dickheads. But sometimes I've seen incidences of, and I'm going to say particularly when fans have travelled to Spain, I'm going to single out Spain on this occasion for that, because I've seen too many shithouse tactics from heavy-handed security staff or match stewards, and police too quick to get the batons out and stuff as well. So sometimes as fans we need to stick together, and yeah, there's always going to be banter, mate. I'm always going to dislike United and you're always going to dislike Liverpool, but there has to be an underlying respect, I think, as well, and an understanding that it's just football. It doesn't always have to be personal. I'm with one tribe, you're with another tribe, but at the end of the day we all love the same fucking sport, don't we? So That, as you said, you've nailed it. Rivals, not enemies. Thank God Kompany's gone, so we can't hit rockets, said Ethan LFC. We're signing Ligt so Matip can play up front, said Pranav. Our second is better than Arsenal's, said Craig Weston. Would prefer Invincible, just sounds so much better, and you'd probably win the league anyway, said Liam Kelly. Exactly, Craig, it's okay to disagree, it's what it's all about, said Germanus. Which Tottenham player is most likely to choke under the pressure in a penalty shootout? I don't know. Really brief. Who do I? Kieran Trippier. Him. I think him. Yeah, I'll go with Trippier. Thoughts on Vinny as a player manager? Spoke about it earlier on. Top man. Nothing but respect for Vincent Kompany. I wish him all the best. He's been a tremendous player for Manchester City and the Premier League. He looks like he's a class act as well from the bits I've read about the charity work that he's done and stuff. So, going back to Anderlecht, if memory serves me correct, is that where he came from? I know it's a long time ago now, but I wish him the best. I really do. I've no ill feeling towards Vincent Kompany whatsoever, other than the fact that he scored that screamer against Leicester. That's the only thing I'll hold against him. Ethan said if we win the Champions League, more players will want to sign for us. I think either way, just seeing where our club is going, Ethan, mate, and our second Champions League final in a row and pushing Manchester City all the way in the Premier League when nobody else were able to hold a candle to them. And the manager that we have, and don't underestimate the pull and the lure of Anfield. Like, people watching that Barcelona game, or people watching the Roma game last season, or the games against Manchester City, or that Borussia Dortmund game, people don't forget that. And players... that won't be lost on players either. They'll look at that and go, wow. Fucking wow. Like, you remember Adrian Rabiot, for instance, put up an emoji with the love heart eyes on a picture of Anfield at one point. That isn't lost on players. Players want to come and play in those type of atmospheres for those type of fans. So yeah, Liverpool is a special club, and I think with a manager like Jurgen Klopp and owners that have been as shrewd as they have been, I think we're very attractive. What's my opinion on Dusan Tadic? He's always been a very good gifted footballer. He's too old for us to even consider signing. If I was Tadic, I would stay put at Ajax and carry on doing what he's doing there and enjoying his football. He looks absolutely reborn since he went there. As long as we have Klopp and Michael Edwards, I'm not worried about our signing, said Param. Scotty, good night to you, buddy. Kompany did start at Anderlecht. Thank you very much for that one, Jack. Spanish police hate English fans. Absolutely zero tolerance, said Brian Morrissey. Seems to be what I've seen, Brian, mate, in the few clips and the few bits and pieces. I don't like it. I especially when you see, as a whole, the way English police football. I have to say, as somebody who's travelled over a lot, my experience with police at games in England have been nothing but positive. Honestly, I've found them very, very helpful when I've needed their help. When I mean directions and stuff, I've never been in any incidents that I needed police help, but I've always found that they're very sensible in the way they police things. I've always found that they understand people are going to have a few cans and they're going to walk around, and people are going to be rowdy, and I've always found that some of the best in the world, actually, I'd have to say. And I think what Brian has said is right. I've seen far too often Spanish police and security have been too heavy-handed. Craig, do you prefer next season's kit over this season's? Yes, I absolutely do. I'm not a fan of collars on football kits, mate, so yeah, I am. Isn't Rabiot a free agent now, said Liam. He is indeed. Would we have the best defensive line in the world if we signed Ligt? 100%, Michael, 100%. I mean, we're not too far off it now. I mean, how could you argue about Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Van Dijk? If you drop Ligt in there, or even a fully fit Joe Gomez, yeah, I would say our defence is the envy of many clubs around the world. Craig, I really hope VAR is not needed in the final. So do I. Yeah, it's a good, Mr. Royal County. It's a good thing to say. I hope there's no need for us to be talking about a referee or VAR. I mean, VAR on offsides is one thing. Do you know what I mean? It's almost black and white in that extent. But for the likes of handballs and stuff like that, I just hope there's nothing. I hope we're not talking about a shitty decision either way. I hope just it's decided because one team are just better on the day, and that's all I can ask for really as a fan. Liam Kelly said he loves a collar. This is why we're all different, buddy, isn't it? And I know that reading about last season, or well, technically this season's kit, they did say that the collar was in mind with fans, so they'd be able to wear it with jeans and stuff, and it would, it would be very social for fans to wear. Have you ever heard of Portaferry Supporters Club, Craig? Or Jay Riley at the Cop HQ? I've heard of Jay Riley, absolutely, yeah. I don't know personally. I know he's a pretty big account on Twitter. Portaferry Supporters Club, no, I have to say. Or I've no, I haven't. But on the Supporters Clubs thing, guys, don't forget, we're always willing to travel over and do watch-alongs with Supporters Clubs. So if you're a Supporters Club, maybe somewhere in Ireland or the UK or in Europe, and you'd like to have us over to interview you about your Supporters Club and to do a watch-along of a game together, we're always willing to travel and stuff. So please do hit us up if that's ever the case. Positions we need to strengthen, said Craig Weston. Fullbacks, central midfielder and centre forwards. I just want to check through my notes because I have a feeling I've missed something here. Done that one. Oh yes, I knew there was one more thing I'd forgotten about. Steven Gerrard has confirmed that Rangers have made an offer to Liverpool for Ryan Kent. Now we know Ryan Kent has had a pretty damn good season with Rangers, and Gary McAllister spoke about him recently, and Rangers have always said that they'd like to keep Ryan Kent. I always questioned if they could afford him because I think it was 7 to 14 million, I think were the numbers mentioned. But interestingly, it seems that this is for another year-long loan. That's what they want to do here. They don't want to sign him on a permanent transfer. I don't know, maybe they can't afford him. Ryan Kent has said that he just wants stability in his footballing career. He's a bit fed up of going back, doing the pre-season and then being loaned back out again. So, on that one, what do you guys think would be a good move here for Liverpool? Should they loan him back to Rangers for another year? Or do you think himself and the club just need to move on now, cut ties and allow Ryan Kent to go and rebuild his career wherever that may be? I mean, he has been successful at Rangers, and clearly Stevie G, Gary McAllister and the Rangers fans really like him, so I'd like to know your thoughts on that one. A few people talking about Mats Hummels. Oh, he's far too past it now, to be fair. Too slow, too past it. I would take a very hard pass on Mats Hummels. Did you see the love at Anfield after the Wolves game at the end of the season? Carnival atmosphere. What a great fun club. How could anybody not want to join Liverpool? It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I even read that the players were blown away by it because they thought that there would be disappointment, which of course there was because Liverpool didn't win the league, but they just wanted the players to know how proud they were of their achievements that season and the effort that they put in. And it doesn't help that we have June the 1st to look forward to as well. Big man Steve's in the house. How are you? Kakula's joined as well, guys. Thank you for coming in. Even I hate our English supporters abroad, said Big Fred. I think there's two different lots of England supporters here, Fred. There's the, to kind of use a phrase here, there's the England type gobshites that go over, walk around everywhere waving Union Jacks, drinking, singing stupid songs about how they rule the world and all that nonsense. And then there's the genuinely just having a laugh football fans that go over to support their club, sing songs about their club, have a few pints, have a bit of crack, keep to themselves. And there's always one or two gobshites. I mean, when people get drunk and loud, stuff happens. But I think overall, yeah, it's been a little bit too harsh on travelling fans at times for club games. Delit or Ziyech, said Jose Porras. Delit. If there's one of those two, mate, for me, I'd take Delit. What else we got? N'Golo Kante to PSG. Interesting. They've just signed Herrera, have they not? Will Chelsea sell N'Golo Kante when they have a transfer ban? Even though it looks like, they might be selling Eden Hazard as well. I don't know, mate. I love N'Golo Kante. How could you not? He's an absolute gent and one of the good guys in football. Again, though, I just don't know. If I'm a player, why the fuck would I move to PSG? I know you're going to win the French League. You might win the French Cup, but other than that, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I can't see Chelsea selling him. I mean, it would just make no sense. Oren said, I met Jay Riley at the Sandon before the Spurs game. Top bloke. He said if I ever needed a lender with season tickets, we could be buzzing. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't know. I know of Jay Riley, but I don't know him personally, so I can't talk about him. But I'm glad you met him. You had a good experience with him, and it's always good to see Reds looking out for each other, so well done to him on that one. Money in the Bank is, I'm going to watch it later on the show. Always that, like, wrestling, Money in the Bank. Yeah, I think there's a new wrestling power couple, isn't there? I did see that one. Becky Lynch and I don't know, whoever the long haired dude is that she's gone out with the beard. I don't know his fucking name, to be fair. Do you think Ben Woodburn will come up to the first team? Actually, it's a good shout. We haven't spoken much about Ben Woodburn, Ethan. That's a really good shout, mate. I don't know. Again, he was somebody we really, really spoke about highly and everyone thought was going to break through and have an amazing season. Then he went on loan, injuries and stuff curtailed his progression. But he's a young player and you don't want to just draw a line under a younger player. I think he might have fallen down the pecking order of Klopp a little bit, but that's complete guesswork. I would say he still has enough credit in the bank to get a loan and see how he gets on. For me, I wouldn't be looking to move him on permanently just yet. But that's just my opinion, and of course I'd love to know everybody else's. Give him a 2-year loan so he's a pre-season with Rangers, said Kyle Martin. Dybala, Shaqiri and Ligt, said Rob Miguel. To be successful in Scotland isn't a huge achievement, said Elijah John. Maybe not. It's still good for the guy that he's full of confidence though, scoring goals, assists and stuff. That's always good. Param said, sell him for the highest price like we did with Solanke. Absolutely rob Bournemouth there. Douglas James Horn said, sell him, let him go to pastures new. He's been terrific for Rangers. Krishna said we should move Kent on, provided we get the right money for him. Randy's in, mate. How are you? I feel like we haven't spoken in a while, Randy. I hope you're keeping well, sir. He said, good evening, Craig. Good evening, Redmen. Craig, would Memphis Depay be worthwhile transfer for the Reds? Footballing wise, Randy, yes, absolutely. I've just always had a doubt over his attitude. Seen a couple of little bits and pieces during his time at Lyon where he's been a little publicly critical of his manager and of being left out at times. But if Jurgen Klopp sits down and decides that Memphis Depay is the man for him and he'd like to bring him to Liverpool, then I would have absolutely no issues with that whatsoever. And the little post he put up about Gini Wijnaldum, actually, I don't know if it was an Instagram or Twitter post. I don't know if it was being cryptic or if we as Liverpool fans are just reading a little bit too much into it. If anybody, who would you like to replace for another player? God, are we talking about fringe players here or first team players? Lovren. As I said, Lovren is the one that I'd probably like to replace with another player. And I have absolutely nothing against Dejan Lovren. I actually think he looks like a good lad around the dressing room and has done really well at Liverpool. It's his injuries. That's the only reason why I'd move him on. That's it. Nothing against Eggsy Lovren whatsoever. Let Rangers pay if they want him. Not our fault. He has to come back, said Brian. That's where I am with it, Brian. Mate, that's where I am with it. Fucking pay for him or he goes elsewhere. I know that there is the whole thing about maybe the club wanting to do Stevie a favour and look out for him and stuff, but at the end of the day, yeah, there's only so many loans and stuff before a player needs to be settled. So yeah, I'd move him on and try and get some money from him. Doc Q said Decore from Watford was a good centre midfielder. There's people talking about Tommy Robinson. I seen, was it Bootle he was in and around today with his big dirty police escort, and yeah, didn't look too well, to be fair. And it's a little bit shitty that police resources were wasted like that as well, just so Tommy Robinson doesn't get battered or harassed. Yeah, I don't really want to get into that whole Tommy Robinson thing. It's not really, that's a crack on subject actually. We're hoping to record our first little bits and pieces for crack on actually over the next couple of weeks. So if you aren't aware, myself and Connor are starting a second channel. Well, it's actually technically live, so if you want to give that a follow, maybe somebody could put a link in there. One of our mods could grab a link to it and put it in. If you want to search it on YouTube, it's just CRAICON, crack on. And we're going to do YouTube news stuff on there. We're going to do some non-Liverpool related football podcasts. We're going to do a little bit of gaming perhaps. We're going to talk about topical stuff and stuff that me and Connor find funny, stuff that winds me up, because nothing makes Connor happier than showing me a video because he knows I'm going to react angrily to the video and start screaming abuse at the computer. And he does it to me time and time again, and he sits back and just smiles as I just lose my rag at some gobshite talking nonsense on a computer. So that's the type of stuff you can expect on Crack On. Seth Rollins, thank you Joshua, appreciate that mate. What about Ruben Neves for 50 million, asks Alan McCalmont. 50 million, Ruben Neves. Do we need him? That's the only thing. Now if we moved on Marco Grujic, mate, then I would say yes, let's do it. But I still hold out hope for Grujic, even though I think he is available for sale this summer. From what I've read, of course, I've no inside knowledge of Liverpool Football Club whatsoever. Ruben Neves for 50 million, he's worth it. He's absolutely worth it. The kid's gonna be a fucking superstar. He's already been brilliant. We do know that Pep Linders has history with Ruben Neves, having been a coach and helped him come up through the youth system of Porto. I think Pepe Linders was 6 or 7 years working at Porto as a coach, so there's definitely an in there if Liverpool ever did want to sign him. Imagine if we got De Ligt and he scored, the commentator would say De Ligt as the cop. Mats Hummels, quality defender, but now with VAR he's too slow and the jersey token will get him in trouble. Yeah, can you imagine Martin Skrtel with VAR? I always thought, as soon as VAR was brought in, or talked about being brought into England, my mind immediately went to Martin Skrtel. Fuck, we'd be conceding 2 or 3 penalties a game. It's not CM Punk, Brad. No, it was Seth Rollins, as a couple of people have said. Henry Rollins. Good man, Brian. Would you go for Rabiot? He's quality, young and a red. Maybe Lallana replacement, said WJ Davies 1. Yes, depending on the wages, because I wouldn't want players at the club to be pissed off if he came in on 300 grand a week wages, you know, because you've got players like Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah, who've just signed improved deals and have earned every feckin' penny of their contracts through tremendous performances for the Reds. So yeah, you got to understand he's on a free and stuff and he'd have a signed and on fee, but I probably would take him, mate. I just wouldn't want it to disrupt the squad with regards to his wages. If Woodburn couldn't make it into the Sheffield United team, then the signs aren't good. Yes, I can't really argue with you there now. Sheffield United were flying, obviously, as you've seen, they got promoted. And maybe the manager felt he just couldn't take a risk when they were pushing so hard for promotion to the Premier League. And he did have an injury, we can't forget that as well. It's time to clear the dead wood, which includes Ben Woodburn, said Krishna. I always don't like the phrase dead wood, and I know people probably don't mean it to be disrespectful. I don't know, it's just something that I probably even mentioned it and said it myself at times. In the cold light of day, I don't really like using that phrase. Can't see where to put Woodburn in this Liverpool side, said Morton. Yeah, I understand where you're all coming from. The signs aren't looking the best for Ben Woodburn, but I just think, what harm could another loan spell do, and just see what happens with the kid. Jarvis Cocker said, if you don't like the policia in Spain, try going to Kiev. Corrupt KGB wannabes don't like Ukrainian prison. I can't. I've never been to Kiev, mate. I've never had any interaction with the police in Kiev, so I can't really give you an opinion on that one. Kai Havertz would be a great playing attacking central midfield for Liverpool, said, is Josh Dixon? Sorry mate, it's JXSH, so I'm going with Josh. Yeah, a lot of people showing lots of love for Kai Havertz, mate. Again, not somebody I've seen linked to Liverpool, really, to be fair. Okay. I hate when I see loads of people talking about something in the chat and I missed the original comment. I fucking hate that. Press Salah reckons our main target is Depay and De Ligt, which I don't think we could be too angry about, mate, if that was the case and they were signed. I mean, I say too angry about, I mean disappointed about. It'd be fucking great to get them too. Craig, you are Martin Skrtel. No, I'm not having it, Stephen. No. Of all the things I've been called, mate, Martin Skrtel, no, I'm not having it. If we just stick to the Brad Pitt comments, mate, that's some loony came up with. I mean, loony in the best possible way, like, because anything that's over complimentary, I'm absolutely all over. What's your prediction for our first game of the season. I don't know. A win? I have no idea, mate. It doesn't actually matter who we're playing, but I have no idea. And what do I think of a salary cap? I don't think it's going to be enforceable. And even if it was, the clubs are accountants and solicitors and agents. They're too clever now. They would just find a way around it somehow, whether it's with corporate sponsorship deals on the side. Yeah, I just don't think that there will be a salary cap. It would have had to have been something that was introduced when they changed to the Premier League back in 1992. Now I think it's gone too far. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with FFP. And again, this does lead back to Manchester City, but I'm not just talking about this from a City perspective. I've always been interested to see how FFP will stand up under legal scrutiny if it's challenged at the very highest levels of European law. So I'm very interested to see what happens there. I know Manchester City probably will be the team to test FFP legally, but putting that aside, I've always just had an interest in whether it will stand up to legal scrutiny or not, and what will happen if it isn't. I mean, if FFP is overruled in Europe, then what happens? Is it just a free for all, or do they have a rethink? It's always been very interesting to me. Roberto's in, mate. How are you? Who's going to be the next Juventus manager, Roberto? Well, I have you in the chat, mate. Loads of comments saying, Pep Guardiola. What do you think? Obviously, you being a Juve fan, mate, I'd expect you to be up on this news. Thoughts on Ove Ejaria? I don't really have many, to be fair, and I don't think he'll make it, personally. I'm just trying to think back. I read something earlier on in the season about him. Did he have a bit of an attitude issue or a problem with something? I can't remember quite what it was. Salary caps work in other big sports. Yes, they absolutely do. But they've also been enforced and introduced into them a very long time ago. Maybe I'm being overly pessimistic, Doolan, but I just don't think it would work. And I would even question, in the other big sports, I would still say that there's a little bit of fiddling going on the side, and that people are making more money than is being made out through other deals. It's not really a Ligt boost. Balagay says we're talking to him, which I don't believe. That's not the only thing though, mate, to be fair. I don't know if you're trying to have a go at me there, mate, or whatever, but it's not just the fact that Balagay has spoken about Liverpool being linked to him. It's the fact that other sources have said that Barcelona are unwilling to pay the agents' fees that Mino Raiola wants, and that Mino Raiola has then started offering the Ligt round to other clubs. So that was the other part of the news. It wasn't quite just as simplistic as Guillaume Balagay. Where do you rate this City side in the Premier League greats? Probably the greatest. Yeah, probably the greatest. From a Premier League perspective, because you've got to win a European Cup. You've got to win a European Cup to really go down as one of the greatest sides. But if we're talking about just from a Premier League perspective, just on winning that league title, I would say that they're probably the most complete Premier League side I've ever seen. I don't like saying it, but I think to be really considered a great, you've got to win a European Cup. You've got to win a European Cup, or you can't be spoken about as one of the greatest sides in Europe or in English history without a European Cup. I mean, I think that's a fair comment. That's not a little snide dig at Manchester City. I'd be saying the same if it was Liverpool here. If we win the European Cup, I'd still be saying we need to win a Premier League to really go down as an all-time great. If Pep goes, that's just amazing, said Ethan. Roberto said, I hope for Guardiola or maybe even Conte, but apparently Inzaghi is favoured for the job. Don't know what to think of that. Wasn't Conte linked to Inter Milan, Roberto, or was it Roma? I think it was Inter Milan. I'd seen him linked somewhere anyway. Definitely going to go back to Italy by the looks of it. Ejaria couldn't handle the physicality of Scotland. That was it, Sean. You've nailed it, mate. Thank you. Bailed me out again there, buddy. I appreciate it. Kent is going to Rangers. We spoke about that one a little bit earlier on. Stevie G wants to take him on another season-long loan. I think Liverpool might want to sell him, so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe there'll be a loan with a deal to buy at the end of it or something. LFC fan said, if PSG don't win the Champions League next season, I fancy Pep. If PSG don't win the Champions League next season, I fancy Pep to go there. God, I hate when I fuck up my words. I mean, it's bound to happen, isn't it? I talk so much on a stream. There's bound to be a few sentences that go awry. PSG will never win the Champions League. Like, Pep Guardiola can go there all he wants and he still won't win the fucking Champions League because they don't have enough competition on a week-to-week basis in that league to keep them at that elite level of concentration and hunger, and yeah, they're not challenged enough, and that's always going to be their problem. That, and they're a shithouse club as well. I don't know. Well, you're saying that as well, but Pep Guardiola hasn't won a Champions League since he left Barcelona. So bringing him in to win a Champions League is all well and good, but he didn't do it at Bayern Munich. He hasn't done it yet at Manchester City. So would he be able to do it at PSG? I don't know. I mean, Manchester City are an infinitely stronger and better team than PSG are, and as of yet, he hasn't been able to win a Champions League there. Wasn't having a go, pal. Just don't take rumours seriously until the papers report on it. I wouldn't even, mate, I'd go past that. I wouldn't even take rumours seriously until medicals are being done. Like, that's kind of how I am. I mean, as they say, until they're leaning at Melwood, that's when you take it seriously. I just be honest, buddy, I love this stuff. I love transfer gossip and transfer rumours. Outside of the games being played, I live for this stuff. I really do. I'll never go ITK. I'll never make up shit. I'll never pretend to have knowledge that I don't have. I've said that from the start. I've no fucking inside knowledge, but I do love it. I love a transfer story. I love transfer rumours. AC Milan just got a 2-year ban reversed in the courts for sport of arbitration. Yeah, the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Lucerne did turn that over. They were banned from the Europa League and they got it turned over. And yeah, it's what makes this seem... I fully believe Manchester City will be given a ban, but then I fully believe that they'll probably win their legal battle as well. So I'm very interested to see what exactly happens, if anything can happen here. Liam Granby said he went to cut his loan short from Rangers. He hadn't settled in and never got on with the lads. Again, talking about Ajaria, thank you for that. Where Liverpool, nobody cares about City's fake treble, said Yibber. I don't think Pep would ever go to PSG. He has way too much ambition to care about League 1. I think he might go back to Barcelona, you know, at some point. I think, was it Connor or Brian? Somebody said that to me yesterday and I never thought about it before. And then I thought, that makes sense. He may well end up back at Barcelona. Has Alan Rodriguez de Sousa got his permit to play in the UK yet? No. I think he's going to be moved on, Lewis. That was a very strange situation, wasn't it? I mean, the poor kid was on loan in Cyprus and I think in Germany and probably somewhere else that I can't remember. And yeah, madness. Just couldn't get the guy a work permit. Ella said Jose could go to Juventus. And then Roberto said, Ella, please. No. I don't blame you, Roberto, mate. I don't blame you at all. Not wanting Jose to go there. Pepe Red's in. How are you, my friend? Say good evening, Craig. Good evening, Reds. I just watched the Royal team talk about mental health. Fucking brilliant. What is this? Have I missed something? The Royal team talk. I'm so sorry of my ignorance here, but I'm not sure what that is. Pep is going back to Barcelona after City to manage the Spanish national side, said Lofa. Again, that's another one of those situations where I said something and then I see it a couple of sentences down. It's almost like I'm making it up and I was fucking reading it. Madness. I love how that happens. Honestly, City will probably make it to the final eventually. Their depth is fantastic, and if Pep stays at the club, then I think they will soon. I think 1 or 2 more years of Pep. I think he's 2 years left on his contract at Barca, or not at Barca, at City, and then I genuinely believe he'll move on. Who was blocked and who didn't deserve a block? I don't know. Well, Brian Morrissey is the chief moderator, so I respect every decision that Brian makes. So if Brian decides somebody needed to be removed, then I've got Brian's back on these decisions. He is, as I said, the chief mod. If Barcelona, Liverpool, Manchester City, PSG play in the Champions League group stage, it's a death group. It would never happen. They're going to be all ranked too highly now to ever get in the same group together. What else we got? I think we should sign Tarkowski. Now there's a name, Luke, that we haven't heard spoken about much this summer. we were linked very strongly to Tarkowski before we got Van Dijk. So what do you guys think? Have you seen anything else on Tarkowski from Burnley? I mean, it's a good show, Luke, and one that we were definitely linked to before. So yeah, again, please, there's a few minutes left, guys, and maybe do another 5 minutes. I didn't realise quite how late it was. What do I think of Kiana Hoover? I think he's going to be a superstar, Alan. I think he's going to be great. Probably two seasons away from being really a genuine contender for a regular spot, but yeah, superstar. Great pickup by the club from Ajax. PSG relied too much on an injury-prone Neymar. United got lucky with VAR. Yes, I can agree with both of them, but they still would have got knocked out. Even if they got through, I think Barcelona would have destroyed them anyway. And if they didn't, then we'd have fucking knocked them out again. So, well, I say again, we'd have knocked them out, I mean. The decision for a block was oversensitive. He was on about again. Prez, I don't care, mate. With all due respect, whatever Brian decides, I have his back, and I know he has my back. So, if Brian decided he needed to be removed, then I agree with Brian's decision. We won't always agree with everything on here, buddy, but again, at the end of the day, I've got Brian's back. I want to see more of Kiana, said LFC 1892. It'd be pointless to relegate City. They'd just get promoted and not give them a chance. Yeah, somebody, I think it was Chris from our podcast, Chris Burn, which I think was Red Boy Burn, I think is his name on Twitter if you want to give him a follow, and Burn spelled B-U-R-N. He said, would you be happy if City were docked points and Liverpool won the league? And my answer was no. I don't want Liverpool to get their first Premier League title in that way. It would just be hollow and meaningless to me. Just my perspective on it. Klopp should bring Mats Hummels, not De Ligt. Hummels is finished, Mr. Slow Flow. He's too slow. He's too injury prone. For me, Mats Hummels is not the answer. Toby Alderweireld would be a better piece of business for me with that 25 million quid clause. Give him 3 years and then bring through Kiana Hoover. Anyone who missed the Royal Team Talk can see it in the BBC catch-up website, I guess. Thank you, Pepper Red, because I had no idea what it was. So I will definitely try and check that one out. Pep only goes to clubs where there's money. Put him in a team where they haven't got much money. I mean, I don't really see... I don't see that as a bad thing, because somebody has to manage them clubs. And somebody has to deal with the big-time Charlies, if you want to use that phrase. So I try and just judge Pep Guardiola on his achievements and the way his teams play football, but it is getting a little bit suspect that he hasn't won another Champions League since Barcelona. I mean, because that's why clubs are bringing him in, because Bayern Munich didn't bring him in to win the Bundesliga. They were winning that regardless. They brought him in to win a Champions League, which he didn't do. Manchester City, they can say that they brought him in to get domestic glory, but they want a Premier or a European Cup, and as of yet he hasn't delivered that there. Would I bring Emre Can back? No. 100 million, 1,000 billion, squillion, trillion %. No. Yeah, no. Sorry, Ethan, mate. Husband has PTSD. It's horrific sometimes, but I always support him, said Willow. Yeah, I mean, I've watched a few things on PTSD and a few different treatments, whether it be hallucinogenic, whether it be MDMA, whether it be therapy, and I mean, my heart goes out to anyone that suffers with PTSD. So I wish your husband nothing but the best, Willow, and I hope he's okay. Couple more things. Messi's Red said only 44 likes. Is that true? Do we really only have 44 likes on the stream? Nah, that couldn't be true. I believe in you guys too much. I'd say we're over 100. We have to be. We usually are. Cobra said, come on guys, 345 watching and 158 likes. So there you go. There is more than 100. I thought there might be. And if you haven't subscribed, guys, as well, please do hit that button. Do you know what? I think we might bring the stream to an end. I think anyone, just refresh. Some people are giving me different numbers. If you just refresh the stream, you'll probably get the most up-to-date numbers. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, there's going to be no late night agenda tomorrow because I'm going to be down in Connor's with Brian and Connor filming a podcast. So that will come out during the week. It'll be a video podcast, and you'll get to see all of us together at a table sitting down and talking, which is what podcasts should be, hopefully. I'm sorry we can't do it tomorrow. I tried to work it every which way that we could do something. So be back on Tuesday, and then we'll go right through as always. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you to everyone that subscribed. Don't forget to look at our competition on our Twitter page. We're giving away your choice of either this year's new home shirt or the goalkeeper shirt, and you can choose either a name or a number or whatever badges you want on it. So all the information is over there on the Twitter account at Anfield Agenda. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed on here, follow our Twitter account, and retweet that tweet. And we're going to announce the winner in our charity stream in the post-match Champions League final show. Until then, ladies and gents, look, take care of your families, tell your loved ones that you love them, and as always, up the motherfucking Reds.